Good day. I'm Joseph Atienza.
And I am Jana Blasi Balagan, and today we shall be talking to you about Sigmund Freud and his levels of awareness.
Do you know anything about Freud or his world on the levels of awareness, Jana?
Yes, I do, Joseph. In fact, why don't I tell you about him?
For sure, Jana. Take a go.
Well, Sigmund Freud is an Austrian neurologist who is also considered the father of psychoanalysis. But before this, he was born to and lived a humble life in Moravia, which is now known as the Czech Republic.
Awesome details, Jana. Moreover, Freud spent most of his life in Vienna and completed his education in the same place. Here, he also trained to become a research scientist. Did you also know that Freud himself didn't start out with a successful career? He was at one point dissecting countless eels in a vain effort to figure out their reproductive process. He had also prescribed and promoted the use of cocaine as a medicine, but it was in fact a dangerous and addictive drug.
Truly, Freud was also subjected to a great deal of resentment due to his views and theories, especially on girls, as Freud believed that the lives of females were dominated by their sexual functions. However, despite these Freud's studies, such as psychoanalysis and his worlds on the levels of consciousness, continue to hold influence on many psychologists today. More on the topics of Freud's works, Sigmund Freud was also known for articulating the psychoanalytic theory of motivation and mental illness. He also influenced scientific and popular conceptions of human nature through positing that normal and abnormal thought and behavior are guided by irrational and hidden forces.
Freud has also written some publications, such as The Interpretation of Dreams in 1899/1900s, The Psychology of Everyday Life in 1904, Totem and Taboo in 1913, and Civilization and Its Discontents in 1930.
Moving on, let's talk about Freud's levels of awareness. In a nutshell, Freud's levels of awareness or the psychodynamic perspective proposes that there are psychological forces which lie under the behaviors, feelings, and emotions of a person, specifically the unconscious, conscious, and the preconscious mind of a person. This theory was proposed during the late 19th century.
This theory assumes that much of the mental life is unconscious and the past experiences, especially during early childhood, shape how a person feels and behaves throughout his life. Basically, our past experience, as well as our internal thoughts and urges, even those we are unaware of, all affect the present state and psyche of the person.
In Freud's theory, he divided the psyche into three different elements: the conscious mind, the preconscious mind, and the unconscious mind, wherein they all interact and work together to form the human experience, behavior, and psyche. These three are likened into an iceberg, wherein everything seen above the water is the conscious mind, while those seen underwater is the preconscious mind, and everything that's seen but is found underwater will be the unconscious mind.
Let's talk more about these three elements first. First is the conscious mind. The conscious mind consists of everything which we are currently aware of. This could be awareness of the time, space, which one is situated in. In other words, the awareness of both internal and external stimuli. An example in the conscious mind are the memories, emotions, and thoughts which one can easily access. Take, for example, the thought of my voice in your head as you're listening to me, or the sensation of hearing my voice right now is the indication of the conscious mind at work. The conscious mind consists of all the mental processes which we are aware of and are doing. There are two types of conscious experience. First is phenomenal, which is constitutes the current experiences of the person, and then there's access, which recalls the experience of the person from memory.
Next, we have the preconscious mind. Going back to the iceberg analogy a while back, we can recall that the preconscious mind is all that is found underwater but still visible. The conscious mind has thoughts which take a bit of effort to be accessible. This means that the preconscious mind contains all the memories that we have stored if we put an effort into actually remembering them. We can think of the preconscious mind as the mental waiting room where all the knowledge and memory are stored. We can assess this through recollection. An example of this could be something that we need to remember to experience in the conscious mind. For example, where did you last put your phone? What is your ATM PIN number? Who was your last ex? These are the memories, thoughts, and knowledge that are found in your preconscious mind that can be assessed through the recollection of their details. It is worth noting that bad emotional experiences like about how you are anxious in your report will be stored in the preconscious mind, whilst traumatic events will be repressed.
Last of these elements of the mind is the unconscious mind. In psychoanalysis, the unconscious mind contains repressed ideas and images, as well as primitive desires and impulses that have never been allowed to enter the conscious mind. These are the things outside of conscious awareness, including many memories, thoughts, and urges of which we are unaware of. The unconscious mind contains things that are generally accepted to be conflicting and anxiety inducing. Example of this are some of the sexual desires of an individual which may not be deemed acceptable in society. According to Freud, the unconscious mind is a vital part of an individual, as it is an irrational and emotional force that has no concept of reality, which must be suppressed and inhibited. Despite the unconscious mind being difficult to access, Freud believed that it still had an effect on the person as the unconscious mind contains the impulses of a person which he or she does not wish to go out into the world. The unconscious mind acts as a repository, a cauldron of primitive wishes and impulses kept at bay and mediated by the preconscious area.
Freud's level of awareness has had many implications in the context of analyzing mental health and psyche of a person. For one, knowing the levels of awareness allows one to understand better the mental state and actions of a person. To illustrate, we understand that the conscious mind contains the current experiences and what is currently by the person. The preconscious mind contains the knowledge and the memories of the person concerned. And lastly, the unconscious mind contains the thoughts, impulses, and instincts that are suppressed by the individual. Once we start understanding people through these lenses, we are also able to understand the way in why we do not simply act just because, but rather act because of factors that are influencing us even when we don't know it.